All right, hey everybody. So we've got our final takes of our traditional way of recording drums, and we got everything sounding good, and we thought it'd be cool to show you a not so traditional way. It's called the Glyn Johns technique. And there's lots of different abstract techniques or different room techniques that you can do to get a really cool sound that maybe is not your standard popular music drum sound or, traditional drum sound.
This technique was developed by the producer Glyn Johns, and it's a 3-microphone technique. This is probably most famously heard on Led Zeppelin recordings. This is the John Bonham technique. So there's 3 microphones that are used. We've got one over here by the floor tom, one directly overhead on the snare, and we have a third in front of the kick drum there. And so the important thing here is distances, keeping everything equidistant from the snare. So just like Wyatt showed you with the overheads in the standard kind of traditional technique that we did, we measured the distance from center of the snare to the top microphone, center of the snare to the microphone on the side over here, and it needs to be equidistant in order to maintain the phase relationship. And then we also measured from center of snare to the microphone in front of the kick drum for it as well. So it's kind of a cool technique, but the downside to this would be in the mix phase, you have a lot less control over every individual mic. So it's really important you have a good drummer when you're doing the Glyn Johns technique, because once these microphones capture it, you can't really go in and just turn the snare up. You don't have an individual mic for that. You do have a little bit of control with the kick drum from the microphone out there, but that microphone's also picking up the ride cymbal and toms and stuff as well too. So again, this is the drummer kind of has to mix him or herself as they play in order for this technique to really work.
Yeah, and you'll notice when we listen to the recording later of it, that it does get a cool stereo image of the kit. It gets lots of kick, lots of snare. You can hear the toms and the spread of the cymbals way better than you think you would from 3 mics. Mm-hmm. The 3 mics are all 414s. So typically people want to use the same mic. The pad settings are the same, and because we have them a little bit closer, we do have the pads on, but we don't have any filters or anything on, so that the bass of the floor tom and everything and the kick can get in there. But once you hear it, that's not to say that you can't experiment and add a kick mic to it or add a snare mic to it. So you can find your own techniques and blend the 2 that we've shown you, and then other ones that you find to get the right sound for the project you're working on.
It's all about experimentation.
Yeah.
We're showing you some of the common techniques that have been out there. Glyn Johns is kind of an old school one, and the other one, these are kind of traditional. This one, not as traditional these days as the other technique we showed, but it's all about experimentation. You just gotta put microphones on it, try these techniques that other people have developed, see what you like, what you don't like, keep what you do like, alter what you don't like until you find a sound that is ultimately you.
Yep. And you can always move these back if you want more room in them. So, a possibility is move them back, add a couple of close mics in, and maybe that gives you what you need. Look up the drummers that he recorded with this technique, and you'll find that there were a lot of hard-hitting drummers that did, add the dynamics in while they were playing. So, something to keep in mind as well. But I think you'll dig it. Just wanted to show you another technique, and we'll jam it here in a second.